So the first sutra of the Aquarian age is recognize the other person is you. Deep, right? Really deep. Really hard. It's so hard. I could cry. It's so hard. I'm committed. I want to live the spiritual life. I want to be a spiritual teacher for the rest of my life. I want to understand these principles, but they're hard, right? Recognize the other person is you. Well, what is that of these false pretenses about ourselves? I'm from New York, right? I wear wild outfits, whatever the stories are that we say about ourselves. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a banker, I'm a mother, I'm a father, I have cancer, I'm unwell, I'm not good enough, I'm a survivor. Whatever the stories are that we place around ourselves. And those stories become these false pretenses, almost like armor that we place against us in the world, saying, this is who I am. And their protection mechanism, because if anyone saw who we really were, what would happen? Or they, in some cases, are a way of gaining attention. I'm not good enough if I don't have that job. I coach so many people that when they on the fear of losing a job or leaving a job, what will I be without that job? What would I be without my children? What would I be? And there's nothing wrong with having credentials and having children and having all these things, but when we're attached to those external pretenses, we have built up this energy of separation. So we are not living in that mindset of the other person is you. Recognize the other person in you. In fact, we're saying, oh, I am me and you are you, and we are really separate and I'm cool, right? Or you're way cooler than me, or whatever the story is that we choose to tell. That separation, so I'm actually merging Kundalini Yoga and Course in Miracles right now, or doing a little dance, okay? So that separation, as A Course in Miracles would refer to it, is not only the separation from others, but from the Course perspective, your separation from God. Because in that experience, when you see that oneness with that person who has come to you, and you can look in their eyes and say, wow, you are driving me crazy, but I recognize that you are a child of God. I recognize that you are so loving and so beautiful, and I'm just locked into you right now because I got you. And I see the oneness in you, and I recognize that you are me. It's beautiful, right? Yeah. Thank you. And there's nobody else in the room anymore except for you and me, because we are one. But having that experience of being able to lock in with somebody, even for an instant, to forgive your abuser, to release your attachment to that separation of the person you've been so jealous of, to release yourself from that stronghold of anger towards someone that's bothered you, and just recognize that oneness. That's what God is. That's what love is. So that's a bit of work, right? Locking in that way. So where do we begin with that? Where we begin is by just getting honest about the pretenses that we've placed upon ourselves and others. Just getting honest with ourselves. There's a teacher's oath in Kundalini Yoga. I am not a woman. I am not a man. I am not a person. I am not myself. I am a teacher. I say that before every talk. Because it allows me to show up here and just be one with you, not be special and separate. Not have the microphone and say, oh, I'm different, right? But that's effort, that's work, because our ego, our fear mind, really loves the story of who we've decided we are, or really hates the story of who we decided we are and holds on to it for dear life because we need to be the victim of this life. Whatever the story is, whether it's I'm so great or I'm so incomplete, it's one way or the other, using it to feel special in some way. And in that specialness, we create separation with other people. So my first challenge to you throughout this day is to, at least at once today, practice that experience of locking in with another human being, whether they realize it or not. They might not even know. I mean, I had this beautiful opportunity. What's your name? Oh, no, not you, you. I wasn't. I was looking at her. But you felt I locked into you. Oh, good. That's nice. See, I can lock into everybody. What was your name? Michaela, yeah. So, Michaela, thank you. And I didn't, that's not even really an exercise. You don't even, you can have that experience with another human being because you look in their eyes. How many people are afraid to look in the eyes of another human being? I see it all the time. People come up to me, they're like, that connection, that truthfully, all we really long for in life is that connection, is that experience of looking into someone's eyes. I could cry looking at you because you're making me feel, I can feel you. See, she looked away. I love you anyway. Yeah, it's emotional. We don't want to go there. We know when we start to want to learn how to breathe, we don't want to breathe because it brings up emotion. We don't want to connect because it brings up emotion. We don't want to be vulnerable because it brings up emotion. But really, do we want to live under the clouds? Do we want to live in the gray? That's not living. And so I challenge you today to recognize the other person as you in some way. Maybe you see someone from across the room, someone that you've been judging. You're like, oh, their Lululemon pants are way better than mine. I hate myself, right? Whatever it is, maybe you see that person that is, you know, a family member that's been driving you crazy in the space, or, and maybe you see them from across the room, and just send them love. Say, I recognize you are me. I send you love. I pray for you to have everything I want for myself. Bless you. Maybe you do have that encounter with another person where you stand across from them and you have the opportunity to look them in the eye and just really smile at them with your eyes, but not with your mouth. Smile at them with your eyes. That is very beautiful. Just test drive one of these tools. People might think you're a little nutty when you start smiling. They'd be like, is this person trying to have sex with me? No, we're just trying to love each other. You can just blame it on me. Say, that girl Gabrielle, she told me to do this. But just take a moment to just recognize the other person as you. And in that moment, you can have the experience. You can experience what I experienced with Michaela this morning. We can just have that moment of, it feels good. Just let yourself go there.